Good afternoon, and what is a warm, bright, and sunny day. It is Wednesday, the 23rd of August. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a box to continue unboxing. And what I'm going to pull out of here is this Danger Gal Dossier, a Faction and NPC guide for Cyberpunk Red, which is essentially Cyberpunk Red can be best described as Cyberpunk 4th edition, essentially the 4th edition of Cyberpunk 2013 and Cyberpunk 2020, published by Talsorian Games. It is set in 2045, between the period of Cyberpunk 2020 and the computer game Cyberpunk 2077. So, Danger Gal Dossier. They are more than just cat ears and cute pink guns. In the dark future, data is power and no one owns more data than Danger Gal. Night City's premier investigation and security neocorp, run by Michiko Sanderson, Nias Arasaka. Yes, that Arasaka. Danger Gal's archives contain information on everything and everyone worth knowing. And lucky you, Chomba, we've prepared a copy of those archives for the download straight into your Cyberpunk Red game. Inside Danger Gal Dossier, you will find information on mooks, lieutenants, mini-bosses and bosses of both the standard and hardened varieties. You'll learn about the factions of Night City, from edge-running crews and normal packs to booster gangers and elite trauma team squads. And when the plethora of NPCs we're giving you in Danger Gal isn't enough, you'll find the guidelines you'll need to bring your own Night City denizens to life. Danger Gal Dossier concludes lore and details on 15 of Night City's factions, including the NCPD, Maelstrom, Tiger Claws, Trauma Team, Sink Street, and the Bozos. Stats and biographies of 100 NPCs, ranging from newly inducted gang members to powerful cyber psychos ready to rip up the street. Guidelines for creating your own NPCs of any power level, from Nook to hardened boss. A new power mission set in Night City featuring the one and only Danger Gal and a mysterious second faction. Want to know more? Play to find out. So, there we go. That's the blurb. Cover. So, and we got the front cover shorn of text. Before we have the credits and contents pages. And we have introduction by Jay Gray, the line manager for Cyberpunk, and we'll begin with a guide to using Danger Gal Dossier, how to get the most out of the supplement. And this lays out what the point of the supplement and how it is used. So looking at the factions, the characters as templates as an idea, how to create your own NPCs, any mission involved with them, and then a guide to actually reading the NPC sheets. Now this should be fairly familiar if you're running Cyberpunk Red, but again, always useful to have. Essentially also says that essentially most of the data comes from the Cyberpunk Red core rulebook, but it does say there in possibly the world's tiniest sidebar that if it's not, it is referenced on page 1 in the supplement. And then we start off with we've got a bit of in colour fiction and a discussion of the first organisation, Sixth Street, which is a essentially deputised as a private law enforcement contractor. And here we have different NPCs in that faction. So, fully illustrated, full backgrounds, full stats. So there we go. And it's going to be like that through the rest of the volume. And then we move on to the Bozos. The Bozos are the infamous booster gang in Night City who essentially dress as clowns to generally negative effect, because essentially, they're pretty much a cross between Harley Quinn and the clowns who accompanied Joker in the Batman films. you know, they are that chaotic and disruptive. And even we have Sentwit here, sort of like, you know, not Pennywise at all. So as you've got quite an extensive list of NPCs for the bozos, but then they're a big gang. Then we have the Danger Gal Puma Squad. Essentially, you know, they're like an operations team for Danger Gal. All sporting the whole cat girl look. And then we have the Digital Divas, our brat band, punk band. So we've actually got like a punk band as a threat, because hey, everyone's armed, and so another nice thing is sort of like, if you can see, I'll just show you. Okay, you can see it. It's the different colours for the names. So, you know, for 6th Street, it's that blue, and then we move on to the Bozos, and it's purple, and that can be seen in the different colours there. It's not particularly it's not quite large enough to be sort of truly effective, but it's a nice touch that you can see what they're trying to do there. And then we have the Edge Runners, so essentially operatives, pretty much like the player characters will be. So you have various different types. So yeah, text, media. We've got another media and a solo. So you've got quite a variety, and then you've got a rocker boy. Then you've got quite a variety there. Even one called the Flasher Fixer. Hopefully not as distasteful as that suggests. And then Generation Red, essentially basically kid punks. You know, and you can see full stats. They're really easy, clean and tidy, and easy to use there. Nice sort of like solid section of description. And then got a section here, sort of like, you know, how to have kids in Night City. Night City being the primary setting for Cyberpunk Red. So yo gangs or youth gangs, kids as allies, kids as enemies, and then, you know, it does have a section there. Talk to your players on how you use them in play. Then we move on to Maelstrom, essentially a Chrome gang, essentially middle grade booster gang, and it survived the 4th corporate war. And here we have a gang all chromed up, you know, that all ready to go to Cyber Psycho in your games. and then NCPD, so Night City Police Department, faction itself. You're talking about, in each case you do have base of operations, recent history, resources, and goals. So you've got these sections for each of the factions in the city. And some of these you can use as NPCs, or just reuse the stats as necessary, modify them as is your want. So different types of police officer for the Night City Police Department, even police dog and handler. And then we have Network 54, which is the premier essentially cable channel. So we start off with investigative reporter, and then solo bodyguard, tech. So just a few of those. Then with the piranhas is a drug dealing gang. So there's smaller ones, but I mean, these are all really, I really like the illustrations in here. They're bright, they're colourful, they're effective. And then the sightseers are a nomad kind of gang. Team Monster, essentially basically a team of mercs known for their effectiveness. And then we move on to, so essentially they've even got their own AV. Then we move on to Trauma Team. Trauma Team provides medical support and response in the city. You literally you buy essentially a subscription to their services, and they will pull you out of danger. So we've got an elite team described here, and they can be used. You could hand these out to the player character, have the players run this as a sort of like a squad of your own, dealing with emergencies as they come up, or they might be the ones that respond to your player characters being injured. And then essentially there's a Trauma Team squad response vehicle. And we've got Tiger Claws gang that used to serve as a proxy gang for Arasaka. Right down to sort of like the Japanese theming and embracing of culture. And then we have essentially and basically an up-and-coming zoners, basically a protest movement of some kind. Not sure what. And then this, essentially their vehicle. So they sort of come fully equipped. And then new gear, toys for your Cyberpunk. This is the section of new gear that appears in the book. I'll just get this page to, there we go. So new weapons like the Arasaka WAA bullpup assault rifle, Midnight Arms SDF 45, rocket launcher, rules for a Molotov cocktail, and so on. Before we move on to that's new weapons, new cyberware, including a Kuroshi Opti-Shield and a combat jaw, other gear like a bicycle, junk ammunition, inline skates. There, and then we have NPC creation guidelines. So, and they are guidelines essentially. So, how to set the NPC levels, making an NPC. I'm going to go basically a couple of templates there before we go on to the incident mission for Cyberpunk Red, which uses the beat chart system from essentially the storytelling system from the core rulebook. So basically, starting point, which is the game master reads out to her players, the story and background, and the hook to get everything involved. Involving the appearance of these bodies, so they will need investigating. And we're going to have a sort of a classic bodega location to have an encounter. Then we have a climax takes place in an underground tunnel, railway tunnel, always a good location. And then here we've got the NPCs involved, just try not to show too much away. And then we've got the Danger Gal Dossier lists. So NPCs by action and role. And basic couple of adverts. You've got Combat Zone, the new forthcoming miniatures combat game from Talsorian Games, and the available supplements to date. So yeah, that is the Danger Gal Dossier for Cyberpunk Red, published by our Talsorian Games. Well, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box from which I will unbox a book or game, in this case a supplement for Cyberpunk Red, and chat about it to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so. Then, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing Nook. We'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.